Hi y'all, thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Kim and I'm a children's librarian at the Monroe County Public Library. And today I'm going to show you how to make ice chalk. Ice chalk is a super fun multisensory tool you can use with your little ones to help them explore their imagination and creativity. And it's perfect for a hot summer day. So how do you make it? You're going to need some basic ingredients like cornstarch, water, bowl and spoon to mix up your stuff, some measuring tools, an ice cube tray, and food coloring. Okay, so that's what you would need to get started. And here we go. What you'll do is take equal parts cornstarch and water and mix them together. Today I'm going to use it for this demonstration just 1/4 cup of cornstarch and water, but I will tell you to fill this entire ice cube tray, you're going to need 1 cup. Okay, so here we go. I've got 1/4 cup of cornstarch, and when you're measuring this out, it is better to go heavier on the cornstarch than it is the water. So here we go. I've got a good, healthy 1/4 cup of cornstarch. I have a 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to pour it in here. And I'll tell you, as long as you're mixing this right away, the cornstarch and water mixes together pretty quickly and pretty easily. So here we go. Mixing. Okay, I made a little bit of a mess there. All right. When you have your cornstarch and water fully incorporated, you're going to get this like very milky kind of substance. So it's very, very liquid, very, it really does have the consistency of like a good milk. So all right, I've got my mixture mixed up. Now I'm ready to put some in my ice cube tray. And what I'm going to do is fill up just 1 reservoir at a time, and be very careful to leave about 1/4 inch on the top to give me some room to add my color, to mix up my color, and then also to help me not spill this on the way to the freezer. Okay, so I've got 1/4 cup of cornstarch and water. It's going to fill about 1/4 of this ice cube tray. And I'm really making a lot of messes here today. All right, so here we go. I've got my ice cube trays filled in. Next, I'm going to add my food coloring, and I'm going to go with green today. So I have this green food coloring that I'm going to drip in my ice cube tray. And when you add your food coloring, you're going to want to put in like 6 to 7 drops. So here we go. I'm going to count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those first ones came out really fast, didn't they? It's kind of a tricky thing with food coloring. All right, so I've got my 7 drops of food coloring. An alternative material you could use if you don't have food coloring is liquid watercolor. I think it's more common for most of us to have food coloring than liquid watercolor. But if you have liquid watercolor, it works very well for this project as well. All right, so I've got my food coloring in there, and now I'm going to mix it up. And I have a metal chopstick that I'm using to mix mine up today. If you have a wooden chopstick, you can of course use a wooden chopstick instead, or you could use a craft stick or any kind of tool that's kind of small enough at the tip to get into that ice cube reservoir and mix. I'm going to make sure I mix it up really thoroughly. If you don't have a tool that's small enough to mix into your ice cube reservoir, that's okay. You don't have to do it this way. Instead, you could color your cornstarch and water mixture before you fill it into your ice cube tray. I like to do it this way with the stick because it lets me use a lot more colors without having to do way too many dishes. So it's really up to you, whatever works best for you and your family and your life. All right, so when I have this all filled up and all the colors colored exactly how I want them, or you could even leave them white if you want white chalk, you put this in the freezer, wait several hours until it is completely frozen. And what you're going to end up with is these beautiful colored ice cubes. And they look just like this. And you can see on mine, it's more like a milky color at the top and then a darker color at the bottom. This darker color at the bottom is actually what would be the top of the ice cube. And that's where the water has risen to the surface, right? All the cornstarch kind of sank, and all the water and color by itself is just on the top. That's okay if that happens. That's why I'm saying you can go heavier on the cornstarch than the water. It is okay that happens, but this part will not chalk as well as the cornstarch part. Okay, so that's how you make ice chalk. Next up, we're going to go outside, see how it works. Okay, so we're back and we're outside and we've got our ice chalk. We're ready to go. And you're going to see I have a couple other things with me today. I've got an old towel that I'm sitting on because the cement gets really, really hot. And I've got a little plate with my ice on it. And I've only put a couple pieces on here. You only want to get out a few pieces at a time because it's going to melt really quickly in the summer heat. I've also brought some paper towels to help clean up any little messes on my hands or my clothes before I go back inside the house or touch the doorknob and things like that. Okay, so what you would do to get started, just pick up your ice cube. You can do it with your hands directly like this. I will tell you though, it does stain your fingers because of that food coloring, so you could take a paper towel and just wrap the ice cube around in your paper towel like this to keep it off your hands. And then just like regular sidewalk chalk, you can run it across the concrete. And it's a really fun experience because you've got the cold of those ice cubes and you've got the heat of the concrete kind of together. And you can talk about those opposites with your little one. Because these ice cubes are going to melt, the colors are quickly going to blend together. So you can also talk about color mixing, which is also a really fun experience with this. And I'll tell you one more thing. As these ice cubes melt, you get the texture of that wet cornstarch on your fingers. And that's another really fun kind of multi-sensory experience involved with this activity. So you've got the cold of the ice cubes, you've got the heat of the concrete, you've got that tactile feeling of that melting cornstarch in your hand, and you've also got this this kind of texture. As you run it across the sidewalk, you feel those bumpy grooves move across as you rub. So a lot of really fun things to explore there, and especially, of course, your imagination and creativity. You can draw whatever you want, kind of go wherever you need to go here. And that's really, really fun and really powerful. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you have a chance to make this. And if you do have a chance and want to show us what you created, please post it in the comments below. We'd love to see what you come up with. Alright, thank you so much and have a great summer. Bye-bye.